Now, if you have loved ones who are in hospital or living in a care home, you can believe it, can't you? It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to be apart from the people we love. And in the COVID pandemic, that taught us a lot, didn't it? It came right into focus when restrictions meant that people couldn't visit family members. Well, now the pandemic is over, those issues of being able to see loved ones in care settings have also gone away. But campaigners believe people in care and health, and I'd love to know your views on this, people in care and health settings have the right, don't they, to unrestricted visits from a designated essential caregiver, even during lockdowns or emergencies. And this morning, Liverpool Walton MP Dan Carden will tell Parliament why those rights should be enshrined in law. Diane Mayhew is the co-founder and campaigner manager for the Rights for Residents, which is focused on securing what's being called Gloria's Law. Well, she spoke to our political reporter Claire Hamilton about why this legislation would mean so much.
We set up the campaign, my partner and I, the other co-founder, Jenny Morrison, because I lost my dad in hospital and couldn't say goodbye. This was during the pandemic. So he died alone, basically, and that will haunt me for the rest of my life. And then running parallel to that, Jenny's mum, Jean, was in a care home, and we couldn't see her either. We were forced to literally sit and try and communicate with her through a closed window. And when someone's got advanced dementia, that's not an easy thing to do. And so we've both lost our parents now, and we swore to each other that we would fight to the bitter end to change these awful visiting rules in both hospitals and in care homes. But unfortunately, the situation is still going on.
And tell us more about that, because I'm sure that lots of people listening will think, well, as awful as this is, it's something that's in the past. It happened during the pandemic, but surely, now things have changed, that people who are living in care homes or are in hospital have got access to their loved ones.
Well, I can assure you, Claire, we want to move on with our lives, but we can't because we're being inundated with members who contact us from Rights for Residents who are locked out of their loved one's care. And some of the stories that we've heard, they're just unbelievable. And I think from what we can gather, and this is what I've been told by care home managers as well, public health are telling them to lock the doors when they've got an outbreak. Now, in some cases, an outbreak might only mean 2 people. And we're not talking about COVID anymore. We're talking about a chest infection or flu. It is absolutely ridiculous. We never had this before the pandemic. And now it seems that any opportunity whatsoever, they just lock down altogether. And that is not what should be happening. But unfortunately, that is what's happening. And I think for people who are certainly in care homes, who survived the pandemic, can you imagine the trauma of thinking this is happening all over again? Because it is. And it's the same in hospitals. We've had some tragic cases reported to us where, the people in there have been denied the right to have their loved one by their side and have felt completely abandoned. And there is nothing that anybody seems to be able to do.
So you're calling for something called Gloria's Law. What would this entail?
So Gloria's Law would mean that everybody, any one of us, you, myself, my partner, people that are already in these situations now, would have the legal right to a care supporter that would guarantee that they would always be able to choose the person they want by their side when they need them the most. We have never expected hospitals and care homes to open the doors and let floods of people in when, there's an infection. But we do expect that they protect the mental health and well-being of the people they care for by allowing that person to be by their side. I can't imagine being in a hospital and being told that Jenny can't be with me. You're frightened. And to deny that is just inhumane and it's cruel.
And who was Gloria, Diane?
The Rights Residents Ambassador, the West End performer Ruthie Henshaw. Her mum Gloria was in a care home and she sadly passed away, and we decided to call this law Gloria's Law. So it's basically having the legal right to maintain contact but we call it Gloria's Law.
Now, the Walton MP, Dan Carden, has been very vocal on this subject. He spoke out during the pandemic and he's bringing it to Westminster for a special debate later this morning. What do you hope that he'll achieve? And obviously he's been a big support to you in the campaign over the last 5 years.
Do you know, Dan Carden, honestly, I don't know what we would have done without him, because his support has never faltered. He had his own personal experience, which I won't go into. He's still continued to fight for this legal right because he knows how important it is to, he's experienced it himself being locked out. So he knows how important this is to everybody. We should never be cut off from the person that we love ever again.
And you're going to be there later this morning, aren't you, Diane, to hear the conversation?
We certainly are. We got the train down to London and we're going to be there. Yeah, definitely. We can't wait. Supporting Dan in the same way that he's supported us.
Thanks to our reporter Claire Hamilton there as well, and Diane as well. Listen, call Kev. I need your response to this. Call Kev between 9 and 10, or call me anytime, 0800 731 9333. I mean, it just seems